began approaching, following the heat from south to north, picking off children as it went like shot hitting skeet. It was against that onrushing danger that Salk had been racing, and it was against that same danger that all the whispering about the coffins got started. It was whispering that was begun, not surprisingly, by Walter Winchell. During the Second World War, Winchell had been one of the glitteriest, if most rough-cut stones in Hollywood's jewel box of celebrity reporters. In recent years, however, the appeal of his Carnival Barker reporting had faded, and while plenty of newspapers still carried his column, his true soapbox was now radio, where he'd shout out his stories in a 15-minute slot every Sunday night. The show wasn't quite the backwater his critics liked to say it was, but it was clearly a banishment to the provinces compared with the vast stage he had once commanded. For a man not often received in polite journalistic company, Winchell did do his homework. He made it a habit to keep his ear to the ground, listening not just for big stories, but also for the emotional details that gave them their headline-making power. Winchell knew that Salk's vaccine, like any new vaccine, made a lot of people nervous, because a vaccine made sloppily or improperly could give you the very illness you were trying to avoid. This was why Winchell's words at the beginning of his April 4th broadcast carried such force. "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea," he began, the familiar introduction by now grown tired. "Attention, everyone. In a few moments I will report on a new polio vaccine. It may be a killer." 15 seconds elapsed while Winchell's director played a commercial message, and then the newsman was back on the air. "Attention all doctors and families," he announced. "The National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis plans to inoculate 1 million children this month. The U.S. Public Health Service tested 10 batches of this new vaccine. They found, I am told, that 7 of the 10 contained live, not dead virus, that it killed 7 monkeys. The name of the vaccine is the Salk vaccine, named for Dr. Jonas Salk of the University of Pittsburgh. The Michigan State Medical Society has refused approval, the first state to do so. The Polio Foundation is trying to kill this story, but the U.S. Public Health Service will confirm it in about 10 days. Why wait 10 days? The air crackled for a moment while the question hung and spun. The performance was vintage Winchell. The brief, syntactically snapped sentences, the repetition of the sensationally obvious. The virus wasn't just live, it was also not dead. The slight feint toward an unnamed source. Winchell could sell the real thing, and he could sell swill. And as always, he wasn't revealing on which one this was. But the pitch would continue the next morning in the 150 newspapers that still carried his column. And it would continue the following Sunday night, when he would boost the rumor's voltage by adding the ghastly detail about the coffins and the luckless children who would soon be occupying them, courtesy of Jonas Salk and his madman's vaccine. Salk himself was unaware of what Winchell was up to the night of the first broadcast. The Salks owned a radio, but it wasn't much listened to. They owned a television, too, but it wasn't much watched. Like all their neighbors, they subscribed to one of the 3 local newspapers. People who had the time to read in the morning took the early risers' Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Afternoon readers chose the Pittsburgh Sun-Telegraph. Salk, who was generally in his lab before the sun came up, preferred the evening Pittsburgh Press. That Monday morning, Salk woke up as early as always, and was thus ignorant of Winchell's broadcast when he arrived at his lab. It was only when he saw the way the lab staff looked at him as he entered that he suspected something was up. "You heard?" a technician asked him uncertainly, approaching with the morning paper. "Heard what?" Salk asked. With a shrug, the technician handed over the paper, folded open to the column. Salk took in the story in 2 or 3 bites.